This is a video review of the HTC Trophy for Verizon, which is a CDMA phone and costs the usual $200 with the 2-year contract. You will have to pay for a data plan, and Verizon unfortunately doesn't include telenav for free like how Sprint does. The phone's hardware is beautiful. It fits in your hand perfectly. It's just the right size. The 3.8 LCD screen is a great size for everything. The design of the phone is classy yet still looks powerful. The buttons are easy to press and feel just right. The phone feels solid and strong. You also have a SIM card in case you travel overseas and need to use a GSM network. Overall, I couldn't ask for much more design-wise about the hardware, except for an AMOLED LED screen, or at least a screen that's easier to see in the sun. The screen does look crisp and clear. Text is really sharp and the colors shine bright. However, there are a few negatives about the screen. One problem is that you can barely see the screen in daylight. The sunlight greatly lowers your visibility of the screen and can be a big issue. Also, it isn't an AMOLED display or a Super LCD display, so that's a bit disappointing, but otherwise the display is vibrant and sharp. The HTC Trophy comes preloaded with Nodu, so your games load fast and the marketplace doesn't crash. This also means you have copy-paste out of the gate. Copy-paste works extremely well and has received praise from my Android-using friend. Typing on the screen in both portrait and landscape is really easy, since the screen size is just perfect for a touch keyboard. The internet speeds felt fast and were usually reliable. Unlike T-Mobile, where data seems to randomly stop working for me, Verizon's data constantly worked every time I took the phone out. However, Verizon seemed to randomly drop me to their 1x speed instead of 3G, which was an absolute party pooper. When on 3G, the response time for loading web pages is fantastic. I won't go into data speed comparisons, but I'll personally say that Sprint had the best mix of speed, reliability, and response time out of the three for where I live. The camera on the HTC Trophy is a 5 megapixel camera, and it only takes decent pictures. It still suffers from the usual HTC camera problems, like it can't record video at a decent frame rate when you're in an area with lower than usual lighting, and you have to be perfectly steady when taking a picture, or else the picture will come out severely motion blurred. Overall, it's basically the same as every HTC Windows Phone camera. The flash is pretty bright, but not as bright as a dual LED flash like the HG7 has. However, it gets the job done and acts as a decent flashlight. Call quality was a disappointment. When you're listening to someone, their voice sounds like it's constantly breaking up, and this was with 4 bars of 3G service. I believe the problem lies in the HTC Trophy, and I'll touch on that in a second. However, the recipients of our calls said that we did sound very clear, so that's good. The volume of the earpiece was acceptable, but it could be louder. The speakerphone's volume was a bit quiet, if anything, but the calls sounded completely better through the speakerphone and didn't have any of those audio problems like the earpiece did. Therefore, the earpiece in the Trophy must be of lower quality. Recipients of the speakerphone call could definitely notice that we were on a speakerphone. However, the phone doesn't have any major signal degradation, so you can hold it in just about any way and it picks up a signal just fine. The speakers for music are a lot louder compared to the HG7, and almost as loud as the HTC Arrives. They actually play at a reasonable volume like any smartphone should. Music also sounded a lot better quality-wise through the Trophy than it did through the HG7, both through the built-in speakers and through the wired speakers. You don't even need to use the HTC Sound Enhancer app because music sounds great by default. Battery life isn't anything incredible, but the battery lasts a solid day or more with normal use. If you use the phone very lightly, you could probably last 2 days before charging it. Overall, the battery isn't impressive, but it lasts as long as smartphone batteries should. If you're on Verizon and want a Windows Phone now, you'll definitely be happy with the Trophy. The call quality is a major disappointment, the screen isn't great in sunlight, and the camera is the usual HTC quality, which isn't that great. But if those things aren't extremely important to you, you'll be left on a smile when you hold the trophy simply because the hardware feels so great in your hand. You can find the HTC Trophy for $200 with a 2-year contract at Verizon.